What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to you with that analysis breakdown tribute on one of the greatest point guards in NBA history, Lenny Wilkens. He did a good job of hesitating and having fakes to be able to drive to the basket and get good quality, high percentage layups. He knew when to catch you off guard. He knew how to blow past you. He knew how to finish. He knew how to hang in the air, readjust the shot if he had to, and just lay it right into the net with a nice finger roll. He did this even if he was contesting the layups or trying to make it a little bit more trafficky. Still was able to finish and get the shot that he wanted near the basket. And he just knew how to evade and dodge big men and just stay in front of you the whole time once he got the first step. And that just allowed him to get easy buckets. Not only that, he also knew when to go to the basket and how to adjust the shot depending on who's guarding him or who's at the rim. He also had quick finishes around the rim to beat guys that's near him or that wasn't even think he was going to get there and just get easy baskets. He also had direct line drives if Biggs wasn't there quick enough. He also knew how to get all the way to the basket in transition and finish very quickly. Not only that, he also knew how to use his handle and his speed to come off screens or just stop and pop and make jump shots from the perimeter as well. And if you gave him room or you couldn't fight over the screen, he was taking that shot and he loved it. Not only that, he had a little bit of a floater hook shot that worked for him when he was coming through the middle of the paint or to the left hand or the right hand. It's just about getting to that spot and just getting the shot off to the best of his ability. And that also worked with his pull-up jumpers if he did it off the dribble. He also was a good playmaker, was an assist leader, and he ended up finding his teammates in the spots where they wanted them, whether that was dunking, whether that was in the post, or whether that was in transition for easy, good looks throughout his entire career. And he knew how to push the ball ahead and just make good decisions, whether that was under his vision to get it to the guy or even allowing his teammates to be able to get the ball and make decisions as well by giving it up to them when they had good angles and good ways to get to the rim and just trusting them to make the right decision after they got the ball. Just an ultimate team player. He had good size for his position as a guard. He stood 6'1" and 180 pounds. That's about where they want you to be at even back then, to have the speed, the quickness, and the size and the strength to be able to beat guys off the dribble, stay in front of them and finish, and also being able to still stay where you need to be peak wise mentally to be able to pull those moves off, to be able to do it efficiently. And obviously the NBA is going to make it as hard and as tough as they can because they want to beat you, they want to take you out your game, and they want you to struggle to make their jobs easier. Turnovers help. Obviously, missed shots, especially long distance one, can lead to transitions, which is the easiest shots you can get. But the thing about Lenny Wilkens, he really understood the game. He really waited for things to open up. He knew when to attack. He knew when to pass. He knew when to stay out the way. He knew how to push and when to push, even if it was in the half court. He ended up being drafted by the St. Louis Hawks in 1960. He was a first-round pick, and he ended up being the sixth pick in that draft. He did wear jersey numbers 32, 15, 14, 19, and 17 throughout his career. He did play for the St. Louis Hawks from 1960 through 1968. He also played for the Seattle Supersonics from 1968 through 1972, and through 1972 through 1974 he played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and from 1974 through 1975 he ended up playing for the Portland Trail Blazers before he called it a playing career. And then, of course, he did a fantastic job as a coach as well. But he was a player that ended up being a 9-time NBA All-Star, showing you that he was definitely one of the best players of his era from 1963 to 1965. Then he ended up making it again from 1967 all the way through 1971. Then he made his last All-Star team in 1973. He also was the NBA All-Star MVP in 1971. And then, like I said before, he did become the assist leader in 1970. He was a part of the anniversary 50th and 75th teams, and he did have his number 19 jersey retired by the Seattle Supersonics, and he also was a consensus second-team All-American in 1960. But he was just such a great basketball mind and just understood how to play the game right. He knew how to understand his teammates. He knew how to get the best out of them and make them look good while competing with them. And that helped him become a coach. You know, those characteristics and those things that he had instilled in him, just allowed him to be a coachable and a respectable player, and that also helped him be respected by the players he was coaching. He did win an NBA championship as a coach in 1979. He also did win NBA Coach of the Year in 1994. He was a four-time NBA All-Star head coach for the game in 1979, 1980, 1989, and 1994. He is known as one of the top 10 coaches in NBA history. He also is known as one of the top 15 coaches in NBA history. And he also did get the Chuck Daly Lifetime Achievement Award in 2011. He did score over 17,000 points because he averaged 16.5 points per game. He also had over 5,000 rebounds because he averaged 4.7 rebounds per game. And then he was able to get over 7,000 assists because he averaged 6.7 assists per game. When you look at his counting stats, he ended up having a season where he was able to score 22 points per game. That was the highest he was able to get as a scorer. He did play 82 games, multiple seasons throughout his career. He did play a lot of minutes. They really relied and depended on him to run their offense and be one of their best primary decision makers. Ultimately, the ultimate decision maker on the teams that he played for basically all 15 years of his career almost, besides that last year when he was 37. Other than that, he was still a good quality player and a guy that you can rely on to get the job done. He also finished as a 77% free throw shooter for his career. He also ended up having a career high 9.6 assists per game. Never could really average 20 and 10, but he came close to doing it in several seasons. And on top of that, he also knew how to get steals. He didn't get a steals leader, but he had a season where he ended up getting 2.3 steals per game, and he did average 4.7 turnovers. Was a problem sometimes, but nothing was really too crazy. Other than that, it was some things back then they didn't keep track of into certain years, and that's why we don't really have a track history for some of those things. He did attempt, a lot of free throws in his career. He tapped out at 8.7, which is unheard of to be able to get to the free throw line that much. It just show you how smart and how witty he was in his approach to how he was attacking the defense and how he was getting his shots. And he always took the best shot available and the best look he can get, even if that was shooting or driving, which was good for him. He didn't shoot the greatest percentage from the field throughout his career, but back then, high volume scoring was mainly what you could do. Obviously, you had to take what the defense give you, or you had to be very aggressive for a shot, and sometimes that made things harder and tougher to finish and score. But at the same time, it was just a different game then, more physical, more tougher, and it was no three-point line. So those are things that factor into things being more closer, the paint being a little bit more jammed up, more hand swiping, more chances to get stripped or blocked. That can lead to more turnovers, that can lead to more missed shots. But he still was one of the best players of his era because he just understood how to play to his strengths and use it as much as he could throughout the games that he played. Not only that, he did have a season where he attempted over 17 shots a game. That was the most field goals he ever took in his career. He did have another season shooting 17 a game, and that helped him score 20 points per game. So you have to take a lot of shots, especially when you're not the most efficient at it. And a lot of the time that adds more pressure, that open things up for your teammates because they have to guard somebody. They have to give up something. They have to pick their poison. And Lenny Wilkens, as I showed you, has found ways to sneak into that paint, found ways to get them good looks. His teammates helped him out, but he still had to knock down the shot or make the player to make the right read. And he was usually good enough to do that throughout his career, even as a young player coming in at 23 years old into the NBA. He was able to figure out how to run the offense and be one of the best choice makers and decision makers and playmakers while also being a respectable scorer throughout basically his entire career. And you look at the fact that he really did a good job of helping his teammates in the paint on rebounding. He did tap out as a 6.6 total rebound guy as a point guard, and he was only 6'1". He was fast, he was quick, but it was his timing to know when to go in and when to try to get rebounds to help the big man's out in the paint. But he did have another season where he did get 6 a game again. So it wasn't a fluke thing, wasn't just something that happened. It's something that he was really good at when he had the chance and when he had the opportunity and when they needed him to do it. It was another thing and another skill that he was really good at doing to help his team to the best of his ability. You want to be able to do as many things as you can do, just to make things easier on your teammates, make it easier on your coach, and it just makes it harder to prepare for you because you knew he's going to try to do this, you knew he's trying to do that. I got to try to take this away, I got to try to take that away, and then they just figure out another way. That's what the great ones do, and that's what makes them so tough is that they have so many solutions to the problems that you throw at them that once they're solved, now you got to figure out a way to adjust to that as a defender. And that's what Lenny did. You know, if you try to stop him, you try to get him to do something difficult, he can always find his teammate. He can always try to find another way to score. He can always try to find the best route. And that's what the playmakers and the passers have to do. And he embraced it. He loved it. He enjoyed it and was really, really bright, really, really smart at making decisions and choices when they arise. And a lot of that stuff you have to figure out quick because you got to bring the ball up. Once you bring the ball up, it's about 16 or less seconds on the clock. So you got to make a choice of how you want this offense to be ran and what's the decision you're going to make. And they was happy to have Lenny Wilkens making those decisions as much as we can sync them, as much as we know when it comes to his career. So other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell to get the analysis when it first comes out. I'll be making another video tonight if anything breaks or anything happens. If not, then I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow if it's meant to be. Y'all stay blessed up. Y'all stay good. Peace. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all. And hopefully it's the next day if it's meant to be, man. Y'all stay blessed up.